The final thing I want to point out is just clarifying the hip energy, because rotation determines where I'm going or in what direction, but my hips really have to power everything. So there's two ways I can power my body with the hips. I can pull my hip forward, or flexion. So I'm going to lift forward from my right leg to basically help pull my body forward as my core is pulling or tucking forward here. I'm lifting forward from my right leg or from my right hip, and you can see my leg is lifting off the ground. The other way to use the hips is pushing. I can push backwards with the hip, in which case my leg doesn't release from the ground. My leg pushes back against the ground and pushes my body forward. I don't generally use that when I'm walking so much, because I need to lift my leg forward, not keep it glued to the ground in the back. So in most cases of walking, except for power walking, which I've demonstrated in another video, I'm going to be lifting my back leg forward to initiate the step. The rotation of the core determines the direction that the step is going to go in. So that lifting from the back leg gets the change of weight, so I'm prepared for the swing through. The swing through is going to be powered by the standing leg. And I like to refer to this as a lifting action. I'm not pushing back against the ground, I'm pulling forward with the leg to swing through. There's a big difference between pulling forward and pushing back. I'm going to go sideways so you can see the point. When I change weight, my spine is behind my knee. From this point, I'm going to lift by pulling forward with my left leg, almost trying to pull my knee upwards, and that's going to pull the body forward into a step. Once again, from this position, which is the part of the step right before the right leg leaves the ground, my center of mass is behind my knee. I need to pull forward with the energy from the hip. If I try the same action, but I try to push my knee backwards, this is hip extension, it actually just pushes my body weight backwards. I can shift to here, and now I'm going to push my body with my hip, extending my left hip. The action that happens is this. It pushes me back. My upper torso energy is still going that way, but my hip has pushed me back. So I can't push myself forward at this point. I have to pull myself forward, not push. That's kind of hard to understand for a lot of people, because we see the leg extending behind us when we take the step, so we assume that that means the hip is extending, but it's not the hip joint that's extending the leg behind. It's a combination of the rotational energy of the body, which is shifting forward from the upper torso, the tucking of the pelvis, which pulls the pelvis forward like this and also rotates the pelvis around. All of that's coming from the core, not from the hip joint. Here I'm powering my weight shift by pulling the right leg forward, and then now I'm going to finish the swing through by powering with the left leg. One of the mistakes that people make when they walk is trying to power the whole movement with the swing leg, which works for the weight change, but I can't swing my leg forward to power the rest of the step using my swing leg hip. Except in this situation, which is the common mistake some people do, is if I start my body rotating with the concordant rotation, almost like I was going to turn this way, and then I change weight to my left leg by turning my lower torso, but I continue flexing my right hip, now I get this. See how my right leg has turned out, and I've swung this leg through, but I didn't go very far. If I repeat that action, what I end up with is this short stride, wide stance and the duck foot walk. So see how my feet are turned out? That is because my body rotation is turning the feet out, it's turning everything this way, and then I swing the pelvis forward, and then I turn everything this way, and then I swing the pelvis forward. The pelvis is being swung by the rotation of the lower abs. And it ends up with my feet turning outwards. And the problem with that is because I don't really change weight, I don't shift my whole spine over my standing leg, my spine stays in between the 2 feet, and that causes inward pressure because of my center of mass on the insides of my knees and the insides of my feet, which helps collapse the arches, or results in collapsing of the arches, collapsing of the knee joints that leads to arthritis. So when you're walking, make sure that you're powering the swing through with the standing leg, not trying to power the swing through by lifting forward with the swing leg. You'll see very short strides if you're trying to move forward with the swing leg. You'll probably also see your duck foot walking position, or also bow legs is what you'll see when you're walking, trying to power that swing through with the swing leg hip and not the standing leg hip.